A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room, live on Mila 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Well, it's another Monday, and we're gradually moving to the end of the month. In fact, this is the last Monday for the month of August. Today is the 28th day of the 8th month of year 2023. I mean, it felt like we just started the year yesterday. But then if you look at how long the president had been in office now, it's probably going to be 90 days tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Then you understand that really we've actually, maybe used quite a lot of the days in the year. From the next couple of days, we'll move into the Ember month. That's September, October, November, and December. And that means we'll start moving, building up on the festive period, the Christmas, the New Year, And like people would always say, no matter how bad Nigerians think the economy is, we'd always have a way to celebrate. No matter how little the wins we get, would always be every single weekend. They're still shut down in every corner, every street in Lagos, in Ibadan, in Ekiti, in Osun. I mean, trust your rap people know I'm there. And I want to first send a big shout out to my friend, my very dear friend and brother, Danny Williams. He got married on Saturday to his beautiful wife, 𝗪𝗏. Well, I wish God would start with you, go with you, and forever be with you. Big one there. Okay, today is Monday, so let's get straight up into the business of talking politics. This program comes up on the airwaves every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5 p.m. And what we basically do is we just discuss conversation around politics, around leadership, around governance, around the policies of government, especially those that does not particularly align with the expectations of the Nigerian people. There was an election on the 25th of February, election that the result is still being contested in the court of law by both the two major opposition parties, that's the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party. But all things being equal, would expect development, would expect steady growth, would expect especially now that the president, by the way, had his inaugural Federal Executive Council meeting today, where all of the ministers are sworn in already, attended it. And you would expect that the conversation is very clear, very, very clear. Get the job done, hit the ground running, consolidate on whatever little gains that must have been achieved in the last 90 days of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then of course you ask around, you check around, and I hope that this administration will be willing to have a constant engagement with the people. I feel over the last few years the gap, or yes, let me say the space between the governed and the governments had gotten really wide, really wide. You see a situation whereby people don't even have access to their legislators, people don't have access to their executive, the people they voted in office, the governors, the local government chairman. And then it becomes an issue of, when you wanted to contest an election, you were always within, you're always around, you're always with the people. But the moment you got into office, you changed everything and you became unavailable. So if you as a legislator, you are not reaching out to your constituents, the people don't understand how you operate. So how do you sponsor the bills that you debate on the floor of the house? I thought it was meant to come out of constant engagement with the member of your constituency. Their needs, their priorities, and you put them out there, not necessarily to commission any project as a legislator. I've always said this. The principal responsibility of any legislator at every level, whether at the local government level where we have the councillors, at the state level where we have the House of Assembly members, at the reps or the Senate, your principal responsibility as a legislator is to make laws, not necessarily to commission or execute project. But then we see a lot of them do it. As long as it benefits their constituents, go on with that. But you must not neglect your primary responsibility, which is lawmaking. And as an executive, whether as a governor, as a local government chairman, it is your responsibility to execute project. And this project must come out of constant conversation with the people. You cannot go into a community that need functional roads, or they need proper security network, and you're donating cutlass and hoe for them to do what exactly? So there has to be constant engagement between the government and the governed, so that you don't just make project and the people don't understand what it's meant for. I mean, somebody went to fashion school, for instance, and then she needs an empowerment to set up a fashion house, maybe, you know, industrial machines and all of that, and you're giving that person tricycle, keke napep, the person will sell the tricycle and probably eat out of the money and use the remaining to buy something else. So that will be that constant engagement. I'm talking about engagement. We started a series about 10 days ago now, which is, you know, setting the agenda for the ministers. And in the midst of that, there were some, you know, up and down in respect to who becomes the Minister of Youth. Remember that he used to be Minister of Youth and Sport Development up until the last administration of Muhammadu Buhari. But the moment, you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assigned his ministers, they removed the Ministry of Youth away from Ministry of Sport. So now we have the Ministry of Sport Development, which we've also, you know, talked about the new minister. I think on Wednesday last week, I had the veteran 𝗵𝗵𝘁𝗀𝗏 join me live in the studio. We talked about setting the agenda for the incoming sport minister. Now, we don't even have the Minister of Youth yet, and there's been issues left and right, back and forth in respect to who becomes the you know, the Minister of Youth, who takes that responsibility. And last week Wednesday, yes, there was a letter that was sent to me that was signed by the 36 state chapter chairman of the APC youths, that's for all of the 36 states and the FCT, and one of them said that they want to suggest to Mr. President to allow his son 𝗪𝗧 Tinubu to midwife the process that will bring about who becomes the Minister of Youth. Well, we'll get into that conversation, and I have two young people that will help us understand some of these things today. One is live with me in the studio, and the other is going to be joining me via phone. I will be engaging Honorable 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗴𝗪. Is an honorable member of the Lagos State Youth Parliament. He's going to be joining us via phone. And right with me in the studio, I have a journalist, a youth advocate, and the spokesperson to the APC National Youth Leader, that's Dayo Israel. His name is Adejumo Tunde Rufai. Is live with me in the studio, and we're going to be having this conversation. So you're welcome, Mr. Adejumo.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians. Good to be here.
Okay. Of course, I'll be linking up with 𝗪𝗪𝗁 𝗪𝗴𝗪 very soon. He's also going to be joining the conversation. So let me begin with the sexuality begins from home. So let me begin with the person that's already with me in the studio. Mr. Adejumo, let's get from here. It's going to be 90 days. Tomorrow is 29th of August. You want to look at the calculation that the president had been in office, and in between that period, there's been policies that have gotten some huge clapback from the people, especially the official removal of the subsidy that was announced on the 29th of May by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, there's been the student loan. There's been the Electricity Generation Act that has been signed into law by Mr. President. And in between that period, there's also been issues left and right. I think the biggest had to be, you know, being decisive in respect to the coup in Niger Republic, Mr. President being the chairman of the ECOWAS. So there's been a lot on the table for Mr. President in the last few months that he's been, you know, he's assumed office. But in your own assessment, what do you make of the journey so far? Let's start from there.
Oh, thank you very much. The journey so far has been a bit tensed. Some tough decisions have been made, and Nigerians have been feeling the heat, but like the president will always tell us that it is a period of getting a newborn baby to life. So the pain, the agony, the stress, the noise will be there, but when the baby comes alive, it is a song of praise. And we're hoping that within the next few months, we'll begin to see the changes that Mr. President has promised while campaigning for these positions.
Okay. I hope that always been the optimism that I've, you know, heard quite a lot of APC young people share across the country in respect to, you know, believing and trusting the judgment of the former governor of Lagos State, former national leader of the APC, that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to deliver the dividend of democracy to the people. I said earlier on that I'm not going to be having this session with Mr. Adejumo alone. I have Mr. Honorable 𝗪𝗪𝗁 𝗪𝗴𝗪. Is honorable member of the Lagos State Youth Parliament. He joins us via the phone, live in the studio. Hello, good evening.
Hey, hello, good evening.
Okay.
My name is 𝗪𝗪𝗁 𝗪𝗴𝗪.
Okay.
Member of the Lagos State Youth Parliament.
Okay. You're welcome to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the Situation Room. And in the studio with me, I have Mr. 𝗪𝗪𝗁𝗪 𝗪𝗴. I'm sure you are very much familiar with him. So I'm going to be engaging both of you at the same time. That's going to be a very interesting conversation today. So while we were trying to link up with you, Honorable, am I permitted to call you Honorable Akinola?
Oh, yes, you can.
Okay, so let's get it done from there. I asked, my guest already in the studio, Mr. 𝗪𝗪𝗁𝗪. I mean, how far, how well, so far, so good. The first 90 days of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I mean, you'd expect that. You're coming in from the area of a parliamentarian, by the way, youth parliamentarian. So it's a different conversation. But from your own observation, what do you make of the journey so far?
Well, from my observation and the observation of my honorable members, I can say that it's been a tough one, but we're looking forward to having, like the usual saying, light at the end of the tunnel. And Nigerians are expecting a lot from this administration, and we're hoping for the very best that this administration definitely deliver beyond expectations.
Okay, now let me start from you. You're a member of the Youth Parliament of Lagos State. Now let's go back to what happened last week Wednesday on the floor of the House of the Lagos State House of Assembly. About 17 House of Assembly, commissioner nominees were rejected by the House of Assembly. And out of these 17, over 50% of them actually served in the first tenure of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. In fact, the Commissioner for Information, Mr. 𝗵𝗵𝗁𝗪 𝗪𝗏, the Commissioner for Health, Mr. 𝗃𝗵𝗁𝗪, and a few other people, I think Women Affairs, Budget and Planning, were also not confirmed on the floor of the House. Now, let me ask you, you've been around the parliamentarian responsibilities and you know how it works. What do you think happened? The people that worked just a few months ago and then they were brought back to the floor of the House and they were not cleared. What do you think happened? Or each time you guys are in that, the honorables are in that situation, what are you always looking out for?
Well, I can say that what happened, the situation that happened in the House, not confirming some of Mr. Governor's first-time
commissioners,
executive members, commissioners, could be seen as a, let me say, part puzzle between the executive and the legislative arm. But from our side, from what we're looking at, we still appeal to the legislative arm to actually look at these persons, because they say governance is continuity. And these persons, they served in the first time of Mr. Governor, they performed wonderfully well, and let us appeal to them and let them continue their responsibility. So that's why I can speak around that. That's what I'm just going to say around that.
Okay, so I'm going to keep you on standby. We're going to have this, together. Now, let me ask you, Mr. 𝗪𝗪𝗁𝗪. One of the things that Mr. President said when he got sworn in on the 29th of May was the fact that he's going to run an all-inclusive government. And he made a statement. He said, and to the youth, I heard you clearly. And one would expect that in line of that, with the population of the young people being over 60% of the country's population, you'd expect, to have major appointments in terms of who held some ministries, who held some department or the agencies of the government. But we've seen, well, maybe not particularly youths, if you look at the age brackets, but we have, a minister, Betta Edu, that is 37. We have Bosun Tijani, that's another minister, also maybe not a youth but a young person. We have BTO, that's Olubunmi Ojo. He was representing Akoko North East Northwest Federal Constituency before Mr. President pulled him out to serve in the cabinet. And the issue of the Minister of Youth had come up again. How would you rate the involvement of the youth so far under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Very good one. The president, we must give kudos to him. This is the very first time the youth will be having more seats on the table of powers, and for now we are still expecting more, but the ones we've had are very technical, like the tax reform committee. It shows that Mr. President truly heard us clearly and is giving us an opportunity to triumph. We are still expecting more. That is for the technical aspect of governance. The administrative aspect of governance is what most people focuses on, and we want to shift their attention away from that. Being a minister doesn't mean that you are going to be, you're just of the minister lies on those who are very energetic, who are very vibrant, who have that youth exuberant, let me, if I'm permitted to use that word, to go all out and ensure that the ministries, the thing to ensure that the ministry you're being appointed to, ministries are not functional, many of them, and it is not because they are not well funded, because they don't have the capacity person who can deliver on the mandate of Mr. President. The mandate of Mr. President is ruled on the manifesto, which is the renewed hope agenda. Now, those Mr. President did not just wake up a day and put those documents in technical know-how, who understand what it takes to ensure that a nation moves forward. And these are the people that the president has been appointing so far to come and drive the agenda of the renewed hope. So we should give Mr. President some time, and we shouldn't stop clamoring for young people, because these are the people Mr. President has promised to hand over the nation to, and those who want to hand over the nation to must be part of your process, so that they can understand the process.
Very interesting. Let me come to you, Honorable Akinola. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Adigun actually established the fact that competence is really key, capability, ability to deliver on a mandate, and I mean, it's some public standard ideas. I took my time to read through from the Labour Party to the PDP to the APC to Omoyele Sowore to Kola Abiola. Not the ones that just finished. I mean, the immediate past governor of Kaduna State was not cleared by the by the screening committee of the Senate. But all together, do you feel these are the best hands that can help Mr. President to bring into reality his ambition on the renewed hope policy paper that was given to the people? Do you feel these people can actually bring this to reality?
If the president feels these are the set of people he wants on his cabinet to drive his agenda and to make impact in the life of Nigerians, ameliorate human condition, why not? Let's give them a try. But the responsibility of we Nigerians is that we will always checkmate these people. If they don't do what is expected from them, Nigerians will definitely burst out. And like you rightly said, you mentioned, like Kaduna State now, there's a portfolio allocated to them, like 2 big hands. The Ministry of Youth as well. There's somebody, the president actually brought in Mr. 𝗵𝗃 𝗪𝗃, a 60-year-old man,
people don't want
come and drive the affairs of the youth. But we voiced out to him that, Mr. President, no, this is not what you promised us. You came to the youth and the youth supported you. We want someone, a young person, a young, vibrant person that can drive this office. We need a youth minister who can reach out to the people, who is accessible, who is visible, who understands the pain of Nigerian youth, who can drive conversations, who can be there for us, who can feel our pain, who understand our pain. Because a lot of people are looking forward to the outcome of this administration. And the first, like you rightly said, this is the first 90 days of Mr. President. A lot has been done, so it's been difficult, especially for those at the grassroots. But we are hoping, because Mr. President has put the renewed hope to us. And we're looking forward to the next 200 days, 500 days of administration. What results are coming out from there? So there's a lot of questions along the line, and we'll definitely be having engagement, constant engagement on how these people have made impact in the lives of Nigerians across.
Thank you very much, Honorable Akinola. Now, let me come to Mr. Adigun. He had actually opened a different side to this conversation, which is who becomes the Minister of Youth. What we've always had been the Minister of Youth and Sport Development in the same ministry. I mean, we've had quite a lot of them. I think from 1999 till now, I'm not sure if there's any other ministry that's had as much as we've had as Minister of Sports. Quite a lot of them from 1999 till now. I mean, I remember under Obasanjo, we had about 4 different ministers of sports served in that capacity. Of course, we knew about the death of the late 𝗪𝗵𝗁 that had to be replaced and all of that. There was 𝗪𝗵𝗁 𝗪𝗵𝗁, there was Bala Muhammad. All of these people came up on board under Goodluck Jonathan. The same thing under Bolaji Abdullahi. Yes, of course, under Muhammadu Buhari, we had Solomon Dalung, the man from Plateau State, and of course we had Sunday Dare, the man from Osun State. But now we have a different ministry. The Ministry of Youth is standing alone, obviously because of the population and the immense potentials that the Nigerian youth can bring to the table. Check around the world, Nigerian youth that leading, they're making things happen everywhere. Let's talk about who becomes the next Minister of Youth. We've had different distractions. We've had sports in between, social development in between. But now that we have a minister that's supposed to be focused on the responsibility of the youth, what do you think should be an ideal Minister of Youth for you? And of course, Honorable Akinyode, you are going to respond to the same question. So let me start from Mr. Adejumo.
Well, to me, an ideal Minister of Youth should be around the youthful age. Should not be shouldn't be above 40.
Good.
At least within the 35 to 39. An ideal Minister of Youth should be able to communicate directly with his contemporaries within that age bracket and even beyond. An ideal Minister of Youth should be able to have this capacity to talk to the youth and at the same time be able to face the bourgeoisies, the elite class. An ideal Minister of Youth to me should be able to carry the youth along and at the same time relate the plight of the youth to the president. An ideal Minister of Youth to me should be a person full of capacity. The intelligence of an ideal Minister of Youth should be so high that he can be able to sense, like in the media parlance they say you must have a eye for news, a nose for news. He must be able to sense that this is what the youth need. In a joint conversation among the youth balance, he must be able to give a decisive decision that will affect the larger percentage of the youth and at the same time ensure that he is able within his own capacity to talk to those who are at the top, who are at the later stage of life that needs to ensure that every decision taken in the proposal sees the light of the day. So an ideal Minister of Youth must balance the equation between the young people and the whole generations. An ideal Minister of Youth must be able to stand. That is why I love my principal. I'm not campaigning.
No, it's fine.
I just need to relate his capacity. There was an inaugural lecture of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he spoke directly to Asiwaju, the former president, President
Muhammadu
Buhari was on seat. The vice president elect then was on seat, and he told them, the lives of the youth is in your hand. Ensure you carry us along so that we can be part of this system and understand the process. Because you want to hand over a company to somebody who doesn't understand who doesn't have a managerial skill, who have not gone through the 4 walls of the business management, to ensure that you will be able to outlift that position that you want to show to him, so that he can be able to carry it up to this level that you will be proud of as a person who has handed over to him. So you must be an ideal Minister of Youth, must be somebody who has capacity, who has learned through the rope. If you read through the profile of the current national youth leader of APC, he has started youth advocacy from the age of 8. It shows that he has learned through the ropes.
We'll come back and talk about that, your Israel. Now let me ask you again, Honorable Akinyode. I'm a young person and I'm a very ambitious person, and I want to wake up every day. I want to have a voice, someone that understands where I'm coming from. I think the last few years I tried to change the narrative. There was a time in this country where we had national youth leaders that were 67, 69 years old. Now look at the national youth leader of the PDP. He's not 30 years. Look at the national leader of the APC, Dayo Israel. He's also still within. I mean, I see him a few times on the round, and I try to connect with him. Now I'm asking you, Honorable Akinyode, we've seen some of the ministers that have been appointed. We've seen Bosun Tijani, we've seen Betta Edu, we've seen Honorable Tunji Ojo. We've seen quite a lot of these people that can, relatively say well that young people. maybe don't fall within the age bracket of who a typical youth should be. But I mean, Betta was a corp member about 8 years ago, so you understand that she's still very much within the space. In your own capacity as a youth parliamentarian, what would you want to see in an ideal minister of youth beyond the rhetorics of, oh, I can do social media, I can do this? What do you expect a minister of youth in Nigerian space with the capacity to coordinate over 60% of the Nigerian population? What would you expect him to process?
Oh, thank you very much for the question. There's this thing, they say the youth is the future, and the future is now. We are changing the narrative. My own ideal type of youth is someone who is accessible. Like what Mr. ADIGUN said, someone who can communicate the pain of young persons and provide effective solutions to issues affecting young persons. Someone we can always reach out to. We see a lot of young persons coming in on board, taking up responsibilities, writing beautiful manifestos and that, but yet underperform. We have some governors, I'm not going to give examples, who are young persons, but at the end of the day, when you see the results they drive out, it's not really keeping young person outside as people who can hold responsibilities and deliver. We've done comparison. The Parliament of Lagos State has done comparison on young persons to which we spoke out on the young person who wants to mount the affairs of the Ministry of Youth. I was seeing someone who was here during difficult times. I'm a member of the 𝗹𝗶𝗶𝗵 Congress, but who was there for the party to campaign, take the ideology, who took the ideology of party to different corners of Nigeria. Someone who went out to campaign to people, even the party structure might not remember again. And all of these people, their destiny, their voice, their expectation lies in whatever this person who are actually requesting is going to do for them if he or she comes on board. The expectation is high. The national youth leader of our dear party is wonderfully well, even beyond expectation, because at the parliament we did our comparison. We looked at those that mounted the office over the years, look at their impact in young persons, and this person actually made his office look creative to every other young person outside there. We don't need to beat around the bush. In terms of competency, this person is there, which I fully support. In terms of communicating the problems of the youth, this person is there. And we appeal, the Parliament is appealing to Mr. President to let this person continue his good work in the interest of young persons.
Okay, I'll come back to you. You said we've seen young governors that didn't live. We see there's only one young governor in this country. So if you are drumming to that side, I don't know. We have only one young governor. Now, let me ask you, Mr. ADIGUN. Last week Wednesday, I'm sure you're aware that there was a letter that was signed by the 36 APC state youth leaders and the FCT as well, appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to allow Seyi Tinubu, his son, to midwife the process that will produce the next Minister of Youth. And a lot of people have kicked against that. The president's son is not the president. Nigerians didn't vote for the president. So who put Seyi Tinubu in the place where he can midwife who becomes the Minister of Youth? And one of the things these people are agitating for is the fact that, hey, we have to be fair. We have to put equity at the forefront when we are making decisions like this. In terms of who gets what in the cabinet. When you saw that letter, which I'm sure you did, and I'm sure Honorable Akinola also saw the letter, what came to your mind, especially with that decision? What came to your mind? The fact that some people somewhere think that somebody can actually midwife who becomes the Minister of Youth in this country.
Well, like I've addressed this matter on different medium, and I've said it, that in the first instance, the letter never come to place. that letter was forged. The signatures of the state youth leaders were not actually collated. They were forged. In fact, they were seeking their consent to actually put their signature on the letter, but some of them reneged. Some of them said, why do we need to write a letter to ask Mr. President to midwife, to ask his son to midwife for the ministerial position that was vacant? But in the first, the director of propaganda from a particular blog that actually sent that notion out. And this is a guy I've been dealing with.
But those letters had that letter had right, well, those letters are 2 pages, so they have signatures.
If you go through that letter again, the signature of the youth leader for Jigawa is the same signature of the youth leader for Kano.
Well, maybe that's maybe they're sort of twin.
If you go through that letter again, the name of the youth leader for Adamawa it was sustained for that of Abia. You can see that there are a lot of errors. We've gone through the letter, we've analyzed it, and in fact, I have evidences on my phone which I'm going to share to you immediately after this program, and I'm going to share to Nigeria, and I will tag you on social media platforms as well. The letter written by the state youth leaders, all of them individually have come out to denounce it, that they never signed any letter. Nobody reached out to them to sign any letter. And on their platform, on their WhatsApp platform, they've always been holding a session for the national youth leader, telling him to keep pressing, that they wish he becomes the minister of youth, because they can count over 100 benefits that have come to their different states within the space of 18 months that he assumed office as the national youth leader of APC. This is a man who has gone through the 36 states, who has gone through the creeks, he has gone to the desert, he has gone to the Sahara to campaign for the president. Now bringing Seyi Tinubu into the picture of who becomes a minister is like ridiculing the family of the president. It's like bringing to disrepute, undermining the office of the president, and even reducing the capacity of the president to appoint whom he feels has the intellectual capacity to deliver on the mandate. You know, the narrative outside there is now that Seyi is saying that Dayo does not have the ability to carry youth along to ensure that his father's presidency gets more political youth to join, even from outside our APC. I was like, you can see how much people are going to undermine the family of the president, and these have a very bad notion on the family of the president. And I think at this point we just have to call those boys to order. We know them. I can begin to count their names, but because we belong to the same political family, we have to just wash our dirty in the inside. We know them. This game does not start today. It started during the convention.
That's in 2022.
Yes, during the convention, after appealing. And I want to ask, if a state youth leader is saying their distance, the zonal youth leader actually come out openly and said they want Dayo Israel as the Honorable Minister for Youth, because they know he has the capacity. He has a very rich profile that can. This is the person who went to Buckingham Palace at the age of 16 to meet with the late Queen of England. So we want somebody who have background knowledge of our problem, who can at the same time give us opportunity from international community and make us compete with our contemporaries outside the world. The Honorable Minister for Youth, or the Ministry of Youth, this is like a starting point for Nigerian youth. If we don't get it right now, we might not get it right again. Okay. Because this is the foundation. If the foundation is not well put in place, whatever or whomever will assume the office of the Minister of Youth in the future might not get it right.
Okay, I'll come to you very soon. Honorable Akinyode, are you still there with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, while Mr. Adejibo was talking, he made mention of the fact that he didn't want to wash his dirty linen in public. That means there are cracks within the leadership of the youth structure of the APC. Last week Wednesday, I had Engineer Audu. He is one of the board of trustee member of the Arewa Youth Support Group for Tinubu and Shettima's election, and he came out to talk about 𝗪𝗵𝗁 𝗪𝗵𝗁. That's the national vice chairman north of the APC. Now let me ask you, you would probably want to feel it should be a seamless transition. Someone that was the national leader of the party should probably just automatically become the national or the minister of youth. I'm just saying, I mean, if the president can trust him enough to have held that responsibility as a national leader, you want to feel the transition to be seamless. But with the cracks that we are seeing right now, are things falling apart within the youth structure of the APC or the Akinola?
Well, politics is who gets what, when, and how. And in every game of politics, there are interests there. So let's look at it. Let's take it like this. If you look at it, give an example using the woman leader of the party. If you notice that ever since the inception, every person that served as a woman leader called in to serve as a minister, either of women affairs or any other portfolio being based on the government, Mr. President. The youth space has never had its youth leader occupying the space as a minister. Now we have someone who has overperformed. Someone who understands the office, understands the youth, and understands how to deliver in the interest of young persons. We as young persons, we are now appealing to Mr. President. Like I said earlier, I said this governance is continuity, but then was party politics. Now we are into governance now. Everything that has to do with party affairs ended. But we need this individual to come in on board, start the affairs of the youth constituency, drive impact, and if you could see the track record of this person, you could see that we have been campaigning way back at 2015. We have been driving results way back at 2015. And this is someone we want that we know that has the interest of young persons at heart. It's the best man for the job. Let's have him on board. Let him deliver. Thank you very much. That's what I'm just asking about that.
Okay, I'll still come back to you as well. Okay, let me talk to you, Mr. Adejumo. You've actually talked about Dayo Israel, that's the current national leader of the APC, but he's from Lagos, and Lagos already has a minister. In short, I think two, if I'm not mistaken. There is Lola Adejohn. She's actually gotten into office by the Lagos nomination. There's also Dr. Tunji Alausa. He's also he's a minister, and he's in the cabinet from Lagos. So we have two members from Lagos already. That's Tunji Alausa and Lola Adejohn. Dayo Israel is also from Lagos. Mr. President is from Lagos. The Chief of Staff is from Lagos. Wadli Edo was the former commissioner in Lagos. Now, of course, we know he's coming in from the Ogun State, ticket and all of that. One of the things that the people coming from the northern agitation is that Lagos cannot get everything. The constitution says at least one minister, and Lagos has two already. In the spirit of fairness, don't you think the north should get the minister of youth?
Well, in the spirit of fairness, we should also be looking at integrity, track records, and capacity. If Lagos already had two, very correct, but Ogun State had three.
Kano also has two.
So Lagos can equally have three. It is very possible. The constitution only say at least one. That doesn't stop us from even having five. If you have people who have the capacity, the likes of Wale Edun SAN, the likes of Dele Alake, the likes of MOB, that's these are Lagos trained, and they have all gone back to their various states to make them proud. If Lagos, who has trained these categories of people, at this point now have three ministers, it's not a slap on the people of Nigeria. It's just to tell you that Lagos have that environmental ability to absorb, to create, to bring out people who have the technical know-how to deliver on governance, on good governance. So if Lagos had 3, that's not a problem. That narration is just a political calculation from some set of people who believes that well, Lagos already had 2, then no, it should go to another state or majorly the north. But Ogun State had 3. Lagos can eat. It is Lagos, so we need to bring in people from Lagos who will make him succeed.
Can I?
𝗪𝗵𝘁𝘀𝗧, you want to respond to that real quick?
Yes. Please, it's not really about Lagos. It's not about the region. It's not about the geopolitical zone. This is national interest. It's about the personality, competency, ability to perform. So one that will drive impact beyond the expectation. That's why we're clamoring for all of this. If you look at it, we have young person, we have vibrant person, yes. But we need someone that we know that yes, they can always have access to. You said something when you started the program. You said we've been having issues with our representatives over the years, where people will find it difficult to actually access them after. When you call him, he's going to respond. When you text him, he's going to reply back. When you want to see him, he tells you, come to my office, come and meet me. Let's discuss way forward. Those are the individuals we want to support. So it's a national demand. We're appealing nationally. The national appealing that let's have this person that can actually drive results, bring impact on young persons on board to pilot their affairs.
Thank you very much. Well,
can I also add up to that?
I'm coming. You will respond to that. In case you're just tuning in, you've been listening to PM every day. We talk about politics, we talk about policies, we talk about governance, we talk about leadership, and today we're focusing on the youth's involvement in the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So far, how good? And of course, we decided to narrow it down to the debate in respect to who becomes the Minister of Youth. There was a representative that was assigned, but a lot of people felt, wow, you cannot be planning for a future. We're not God though, but you cannot be planning for a future you are not even sure you are going to be part of. Why would a 63 or 67-year-old man want to be the Minister of Youth? So 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝘀𝗪 𝗠𝗏, and also I've been having on the phone joining us one of the honorable members of the Lagos State Youth Parliament, Honorable 𝗪𝗵𝗁 𝗪𝗴𝗏, and also come out to talk about the fact that the constant demand for effective representation has nothing to do with the states. It's about a national call, it's a national request, because if the Minister of Youth I'll ask you one more round of questions. The phone lines are buzzing, the messages are coming through, and by the way, we're streaming this program live on our social media platform, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM, and on YouTube, just YouTube and search for mainland 983 FM. You can watch us live, drop your comments, I'll read them, and if I have questions to ask, I would also read them out. So I will keep my guest on standby, the one on the phone, the one in the studio, so that we can respond to some of the questions that the callers may want to raise. So you can join the conversation. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. You're welcome to the show.
Yeah, Chiefs calling from Ikorodu.
Chiefs, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's my own opinion. I am not, averse to any kind of election the present government or leadership is making now. But what I'm trying to say, those that are advocating and agreeing and supporting that 5 ministers can come from Lagos or from each one state alone, when the table turns, upside down, perhaps maybe Atiku or Obi, and Atiku or Obi chooses 5 ministers from Anambra State. These are the people that will start coming back to say another thing, because they are the people that said Muslim ticket doesn't mean, but now they are saying Christians are more in the Lagos State government.
Okay, please let's keep religious sentiment to one side. Just drop the contribution on the show. Please.
I am saying this is what the people who advocate ministers from Adamawa alone.
Okay,
thank you.
I get
thank you.
Prince Wise, you have only 1 minute.
I guess. Okay. I just want to greet all your guests.
Thank you.
All the youth. I want to congratulate. The youth can come from everything. but not for Lagos State. I want to come area from the north very well. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Prince Y. 0913-600-0410. Keep your messages coming in as well. Hello, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Thank you. Okay, please, in all this your discussion, where is the place of the people of Nigeria in it all? Because all I'm hearing, most especially from the man in your studio, he's just sounding like a man that is campaigning. He's just campaigning and telling Nigerians to be patient with Mr. President. And he just continue to campaign. I want to ask him something.
Go ahead.
Did he know that a tuber of yam goes for 3,000 naira now in the market?
One tuber of yam?
Yeah, one tuber of yam. You can confirm. So when they are campaigning, when they are in government, please, they should try as much as they can to make sure that people can afford to buy food stuff.
Okay, thank you.
A tuber of yam is 3,000 naira now.
Thank you very much. More calls. We'll pick as much as we can pick. Then my guests will respond before we call it a day on the show. Hello, good evening, Ufoma.
Thank you very much, Sir.
You're welcome.
Let me just ask, is there any state at all that yet to produce a minister apart from Kaduna State?
None. And even there's a portfolio that already been assigned to whoever comes out from Kaduna.
So, okay, the issue of Lagos should be out of it. Let's just leave it for the president, to choose by himself. Because at the end of the day, if they use the influence of his son, another thing may happen.
Definitely.
Across board. Let it just look across the whole state. Let him just decide to choose from another state a youth that will give him a good account of his stewardship. So if they have somebody in back of the mind that people are pushing for his son, we know that maybe they said they not have people who are pushing somebody for him. In his own way, so it's just by exactly. Everybody is fighting for his own.
Nobody's looking for
His interest.
Thank you very much, Ufoma, for joining us on the show. I think I can still squeeze in one more call. Hello, good evening.
Thank God, though. I can see Prof. cutting my victim.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to beg your guest.
Okay.
The APC man, that you not run this country the way they want. In times of OLAWALE or our fathers, is it how they are running it? Looking for their families to come and become somebody or to just dominate people. Let's not destroy this country. But you look for young man, not youth. In our area that I belong to in my own platform, we didn't use youth like us to head us. We use young man. 60 years, from 50 to 60, not 70 upward, that they can run the country. Youth affairs. That just said that there's not being bread and butter. It's not bread and butter. That they'll be putting themselves there. Okay. And we are the one in charge.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I won't be able to pick more calls. Are you still there, Honorable Akinola? Hello? Okay, I think he disconnected.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I am, yes.
Thank God you're still here. So in 1 minute, I'm sure you've listened to some of the things that the callers have said. By the way, let me quickly take this message. Olumiyiwa Oludode on Facebook says, this present government is making things difficult for people. All spheres are falling apart. An old man is being the youth minister. No, we don't have a youth minister yet. Let's correct that. A serving corps member being the minister for humanitarian affairs. God save us. Okay, thank you very much, Olumiyiwa Oludode. Thank you. I got a message. Let me squeeze in one more call quickly. 30 seconds. Hello, good evening.
How are you, my brother?
I'm very well. 30 seconds.
Yeah, you mentioned something that why can someone who cannot be benefited from the generation? Look, my teacher in school is a 60-year-old man. Is it not giving me a picture? What me you should get my age to teach me in school? Look, to me, let us have it clear. those who do not support this government will come out with anyway. Don't support the some separate. All I know is that whoever be minister for youth, let us give a good committee that benefits the old generation and the young generation. It's a party in this country give 80 years as a youth leader. Do you remember?
Thank you very much. Let's leave the name out. I know there was a time in this country where we had a 73-year-old man and that was the Minister of Youth and Sport Development. By the way, we've had a man become Commissioner for Women Affairs in this country too. So we have a way of doing our things. Honorable Akinyola, in 30 seconds, just wrap up the conversation. Going forward, do you think all of these things will eventually play out in the interest of your own interests? Hello?
Hello? Yes, I am still with you. I'm very much with you.
Okay, I said in 30 seconds, we're really pressed for time. Just wrap up the conversation in respect to, how much Nigerians are expecting from who becomes the Minister of Youth.
At this point, the president will have to look inward and look at it to appoint his best fit to actually drive the affairs of the youth ministry. And whoever is going to appoint, by God's grace, we still look forward to having Honorable J.J. due to his track record and antecedents. Would actually have to really do beyond expectations for every young person. And I will actually say this: he's got a blueprint already. He has got his line of activities, action plan.
So let's get it off.
And hello.
I said I will need to take you off because we're really pressed for time. I hope we can continue the conversation some other times.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Honorable Akinyola, a member of the Lagos State Youth Parliament. In about 10 seconds, Mr. Adejumo, talk to us.
Well, the women folks have gotten their own. We need the Mr. President to also give the youth wing of the party a slot in the ministerial position.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. That's been the package, and I've been speaking with the spokesperson of the APC National Youth Leader, and that's Mr. Adejumo, and of course a member of the Lagos State Youth Parliament, that's Honorable Akinyola Shasanya. So thank you very much. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow for another edition of the program. Stay out of trouble and keep your dialogue on Milan 98.3 FM.
Fantastic conversations.
Great to see you again.